yeah, yeah.
Yeah, is grandma. Yeah, papoose.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right, here we go, guys.
Saying yes.
Live on the Metal Voice. He's back. The man, the Greek god.
We're here.
All Gus, all the time. That would be a great station.
Alan was just giving us a little bit of Greek lessons right before we started.
I'll leave it to you, Jimmy.
In case we forgot it.
All right, some exciting news. Gus G's going to give us a little update on what he's been doing, what's going on in his life. Also, we're going to go through a list. The top 10 best and most impactful, keyword, cover songs done by metal bands.
Really?
And there's like tons of covers. I mean, even Gus has done covers on this. But we're talking about songs.
My most successful Firewind song is a cover. Let's just say that.
The Dire Straits song, the Money for Nothing.
No, that was not successful. I mean, the original.
I love that song.
Not mine, not my.
And
cover,
Chicks for Free.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Maniac.
Oh yeah, Maniac. Oh. Yeah.
That's the biggest Firewind song that we never wrote. So.
So there you go.
I have the song King Leonidas in my head. It's been stuck there ever since I know you're going to be on here today. So.
Cool.
There you go. Here's a little bit of plug here. Here's a plug there. There you go.
Leonidas, yeah.
I love that album. Great album.
Thank you.
All right. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to count down the top from 10 to 1 most impactful cover songs done by a metal band. And what does the definition of that mean? It means that a song that a band, I don't know, maybe it's become part of their legacy, part of their history. It's a song that changed the landscape. It's a song that maybe changed a genre, that charted higher than the original. Maybe people didn't even know what the original was, but suddenly this song came out of nowhere. They made it their own. Alan, you want to add to that?
Well, for me, it's when the cover song becomes the standard moving forward. You know, if you look at Joe Cocker with A Little Help from My Friends, you know, when Kick-Axe redid it in the 80s, that's the version they went to. So that for me, that's what it is. It's when the cover song becomes the standard that everybody else looks at afterwards. So it becomes better, or it's a improved upon version of the original. So
yeah.
Are we talking about like covers that were more successful than the originals, or just covers that had impact on a specific generation, for example?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because those are
we got three interpretations happening, so this should be interesting.
We'll wing it. It's okay, guys.
Well, you think Love Hurts from Nazareth. For me, you think like Love Hurts from Nazareth. Nobody knows the Everly Brothers version anymore. That's the one everybody references.
Oh, that's a cover? I didn't know that.
Yeah. There you go. See, even Gus is learning something.
That's why we do the Metal Voice. We share our knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, you have more knowledge than me on those things. I don't know a lot.
And you know what? I would like to hear when we mention these songs, maybe, you know, if you know the songs, the take on the guitar work, maybe, or there's something that speaks to in the music, you know, part of things. Because me and Alan couldn't tell you.
No, we couldn't have it done. Not a clue.
But first, Gus, tell us about your European tour.
Yeah.
Oh, we are actually leaving in a couple of weeks. We're doing a massive tour with Firewind. We're starting. We're going out there as special guests of Beast in Black.
Oh yeah.
And it's like 42 shows in 54 days.
Wow.
It's gonna be the longest trek we've ever done. I mean, we've been out there for long periods of time, but with breaks, you know. So, but this is gonna be like 2 months on a bus. It's gonna be fun, man. Like a lot of the shows are selling out already, and it's crazy, you know. So it's gonna be good. We're excited, and you know, we love Beast in Black. They're blowing up right now all over the place, and it's a good tour for us to be on.
What's the first country that you're playing in?
Tour starts in Portugal, in Lisbon, January 27th. Yeah. And then we go to Spain, France, and then up in the UK, and then back into the mainland Europe. So it's going to be all over the place. We're playing in 20 countries, 42 shows.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
You know what's amazing? When you came here with Dragon Force, and I can't remember the Atlantis, Ship of Atlantis. What's the
Vision of Atlantis,
Vision of Atlantis?
Set of Fire.
Those shows were like jam. They were theater jam. That was a friggin' great tour, man.
Yeah, that tour was also sold out. I was everywhere. It was packed. It was, um, I mean, yeah, the Canadian shows were some of the biggest crowds.
Yep.
Also, I think Massachusetts. It was big, man. It was great. It was a great tour, and I think I told you the story. We jumped in like last minute because there
Yeah,
was
you told
another
me. Yeah.
band from Finland that couldn't make it, Battle Beast, and Herman called me up. He's like, dude, it's like I think like 6 weeks before the tour started. He said, can you make it? I said, we can make it. We can make it. We just don't know if we can get visas
Yeah.
at that short notice because U.S. visas take a while to process. It can take up to 2 or 3 months. But somehow we managed to expedite it, and like I think Herbie, our singer, got his visa like the last day before the flight.
Oh,
And,
wow. Cutting it
UPS. That
close.
was it. You told me like a UPS delivery or something,
I think he
like an Uber driver or something.
he drove to where was it, Berlin, because he lives in Hanover. I think he drove to Berlin and went to the courier company, knocked on their door and said, "Guy, I'm leaving tomorrow. I have to fly to America. Is my passport here?" The guy looks and says, "Yeah, it's here. Here you go." And he left. He went to the airport.
Unbelievable. You guys were spectacular.
Thanks.
Firewind, everybody, go check them out in Europe. They're coming your way end of January. All right, let's start it off. All right, let's start off with a band that everybody loves. I'm sure you love them. Everybody loves them. A singer that you played with recently. Number 10. Let me show everybody the graphics here. I don't know if you could see them or not, but we are live, so I'm going to show everybody the graphics here. Boom. Iron Maiden, Women in Uniform, coming in number 10. Alan, what do you think?
I don't know if it would make my top 10. Yeah, it was probably an improvement on the original, but I think there's other songs that might be stronger on the list.
So you don't like my choice?
Well, it's like they were forced to do it, I guess. I thought the original stuff was strong enough that they didn't have to do a cover version. I mean, they always did some great B-sides, like Cross-Eyed Mary. I thought that was a great B-side. But did they change? Did it change? Did it improve upon the original? Did it become the defining version? I don't think anybody ever did another version of that song afterwards. So
I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of like, look. It was the Skyhooks, Gus and Alan, in 1978 that released the song in Australia. Okay, it kind of like charted a bit, right? Peaked at number 8, and then in UK it did a little bit too. But then Iron Maiden, probably 2 years later, they kind of redid the song to promote their upcoming tour when Paul was in the band of the British Leg Tour, right? This was released in 1980, never was put on an album officially, right? It was just released as a single. And maybe because I remember the time and it was the video just was so significant to me, I had no idea it was a cover. And I go, wow, this is hooky, it's catchy, it's Maiden. I don't know, what do you think, guys?
great video.
Yeah, I actually I saw the video at a friend's house on VHS tape. I don't know, sometime in the 90s, obviously, my generation, and I thought I didn't know it was a cover. I knew it was like some kind of a B-side single or something, and I love the video. It was cool, and I thought the song was cool as well, and I tried adding it. It's like a little bit of a going. I tried slipping it the set list when we did those shows in Greece, and with the band we rehearsed it, we played it. It reminded me of my childhood. I was like,
I think you're just cutting in and out, guys. You're just cutting in and out. If you have anything open on your computer, shut it down.
Okay. You got it.
Okay. Don't watch Netflix as you're doing the show.
But maybe my wife is watching Netflix upstairs.
That's
Maybe her, I don't know. So.
Maybe. All right. Well, you know what? It reminds me of my childhood. I think that you nailed it. There's something about that song.
Yeah.
All right, so
I don't know if you can hear me now, but
yes.
yeah, but I was saying that, you know, I tried to slip it into the set list when Paul came to Greece when we did those shows, but he didn't want to do it. So and I kept bugging him. I would go to him and say, okay, so we're gonna do Women in Uniform now, like 3 times in a row, and
You really have to catch your breath when you sing that song. It's a, you know, the pace of the melody. It's so I could see that it's not a difficult range song to sing, but it's sort of like more of a phrasing and a pace that you really need to keep up. That's what makes it hard.
Hey, you know, if you're talking Maiden, Jimmy, maybe I think "Hallowed Be Thy Name's" a better cover.
You mean that they ripped off somebody else?
Yeah.
The story is they tried, they almost got sued for "Hallowed Be Thy Name."
They did get sued. They lost.
But they lost. They lost the case, right? They Maiden didn't lose.
I think moving forward, Steve's got to share the writing credit on that. Now, I think that's how they lost the case. So,
by who did they get sued from?
apparently, from what I read, it's a band that Steve was aware of. Steve has said that they were influenced in some interviews way back in the 80s, and the lyrics are almost taken word from word from the song from this other band. I mean, it's one of my favorite Maiden songs of all time, but I was a little disappointed to hear that it was, I guess, plagiarized is the word.
Kind of like "Stairway to Heaven," right? As that had, you know, got they sort of
somebody
tried to sue. Yeah,
took Zeppelin to court and they lost though.
Yeah, they lost though.
Yeah, they lost. They lost.
There's many
I thought it was pending. I thought it was pending, Alan. Anyways, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Things change. The internet's not always right.
All right. So, okay. So anyways, so since we're on the Di'Anno topic, I know Alan and I have a few questions. What did it feel like to be on the stage in Greece, playing with Paul and this Greece fans going nuts?
Yeah. It was insane. And, you know, I play here a lot, obviously, because it's my country and we have really loyal following and people to support us and a lot of love. And I know what it's like to play here. And, but, you know, experiencing the Iron Maiden crowd next to Paul, it was like, and I played in Greece also with Ozzy, you know, but there's like Iron Maiden crowd is a different thing. It's it's almost like going to the World Cup final or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just like, wow, like
they're amped up to 11.
Is that Greek Maiden fans or just? Yeah, I get Maiden fans.
I think Maiden fans in general. You know, I'm not sure, but very close to that. If you've seen that Flight 666 thing, you know, that they released that DVD, it's very similar to that South America thing. And yeah, man, they were like, especially now after, you know, everybody came with the love that they were just pouring out, you know, for Paul, you know, because obviously with his surgery and stuff, they just came there to see him and honor him. And it was touching, man, you know, I knew Paul, especially in the first gig, he felt a little bit out of it because he was like, you know, he was in the wheelchair and he kept apologizing to the crowd, but he sung great, you know, he did great, and every night was better than the other, and it was incredible. And you know, it was like a little bit like a Beatlemania in a small kind of level. Like fans were waiting for him outside the hotel every night and every morning. Like they were waiting there to get their stuff signed and to take photos with him, and he was very, very nice with everybody. It was really cool, man. It was nice to experience that.
My question is, what makes the Greek fans so fanatical when it comes to metal, in your opinion?
They're just very Are
they the same for Demi Russos? You know, when they react the same way. Maybe it's just music in general. I don't know.
No, not for Demi Russos. I don't think so. I think especially with metal fans, because it's such like underground kind of music. You know, it's not part of the culture here. They're just very attached to it, very loyal, very emotional about it, and they're like fans for life. They really are fans for life, and I know that because, you know, from my experience, for my band, like we grew up together with our fans, and now they bring their they start to bring their kids to the, we're getting older, they start to bring their kids. But we see also a resurgence in generations, there's always like mixed like ages in the crowds. You see kids, 15-year-olds to, 55, 60-year-old people. So it's really remarkable, you don't see that everywhere. And they know their stuff, man. They know their stuff. Like they know what your first album was, and they're
That's what I was telling Jimmy before, watching some of the videos on YouTube from the show. Is like, hey Jimmy, what a nice gig! You come out, you sit down, and you let the crowd sing all the songs. I mean,
yeah.
that's the marquee value of being an Iron Maiden, I guess.
Let me tell you, man. When I used to go spend my summers in Greece when I was a kid and teenager, there was friggin' more metal albums in those little stores than I could even find in Montreal. I don't know what it was. It was bizarre. I went from metal here to metal there in my father's small little town, and I'd walk into a record store and I saw like more albums I couldn't even get in Montreal. A lot of European bands.
We're always like I said, like we're small record stores everywhere, and they always had next to like the Greek artists, they had like Iron Maiden or Sabbath or whatever. But the thing is, it was, I don't know why. I think it was always, like I said, it's an underground type of music, but there was always quite a lot of people listening to hard rock and metal. I mean, look, Iron Maiden played here this past summer, and they had like 40,000 people.
Yeah.
Well, we're a small country. We're a country of like 10 million people. We're not, it's not a big country. So considering the size and all that, it's a pretty large crowd. That was the biggest show of the year.
Wow.
And I don't know, I think it helped a lot that, Paul reconciled with Iron Maiden lately, and they helped him with his surgery financially and stuff. And, Maiden's like this big family.
Would you do it again? He calls you up. Hey, we're playing in Canada or we're playing in the US. Would you come do a few shows?
Oh yeah, sure, man. I would love to do that.
What an experience.
I
I saw you on stage. I saw him on stage, and it was like, okay. I mean, he was having a hard time because it's been a long time. But frig, the fans pushed him, like there was a sort of give and take, right?
Yeah, the energy that we were getting from the crowd was so much that I think, they carried the show basically. And we went there with the intention of, we wanted to build a really good backup band for Paul and do the songs justice. And we rehearsed a lot, we practiced a lot with all the guys and everything, and we just wanted to put on a good show for everybody,
It's
and
Helena, right?
And make Paul feel comfortable. And so let's see where, let's see if we get to do some more stuff. Tam will tell. I think he has his schedule. I have my schedule, but if he's up for it, we'll do it again. It would be nice to do that in America.
It was Helena, right, on guitar, right? She's also plays with Nervosa, right?
She's amazing.
And who's the drummer and who's the bassist?
Minas, a guy called Minas. He was the drummer, from local bands, and a guy called Costas who played the bass. And I didn't know the guys myself, but I met him because the promoter, he's a friend of mine, and he put the band together.
Oh, okay, all right.
And that's how it came into the fold, because he called me and said, because he had done that with Paul. He's done a few tours with Paul before here in Greece, and he had a Greek band for him. And I think the other guitar player couldn't make it for some reason. He had some other gigs lined up and stuff. And he said, would you do it? And I said, well, I don't have anything going on in December. I'll do it. So that's how I got involved with this.
Cool. All right. So what are we on, number 9? It's going to be a long night, Alan.
Maybe just the top 5.
No, we'll go through them fast. All right, here we go. Number 9. And I know Alan. I told Alan this one here. It's Voivod, Astronomy Domain. All right. A lot of people are gonna say, "What? You put Voivod there? What's going on?" And Alan goes to me, Jimmy. Yeah, I don't know if I would have put that one there. And there's a reason. Okay. Pink Floyd did the original song in 1967. It's the Syd Barrett album, right? It was a space rock kind of song. Sure, made a little traction back then amongst the cult. But then in the 80s, in 89, Voivod took this song and it brought them from this cult status band to a global band, to a mainstream band. It clicked. It just clicked, at least in Canada and the US and around the world. They built their career off of that song. So they took a song that sort of was known and they've taken it and elevated it and had more success and charted and sold more albums because of it. So if you guys want to add anything.
I believe you.
Nothing. Look at this guy.
I can't
Yeah,
say
I like what you said. At least in Canada, the US, and the rest of the world, compared to what, the universe?
Well, the universe.
At least in Canada and the US and the rest of the world.
Jeez, guys, you're tough crowd. Tough crowd.
Maybe didn't do well in I don't know, in Siberia. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Guys, Voivod, Nothing Face. Did you hear it, Gus? Did you put it on a little bit?
I didn't have time
a
to
few
check
licks,
it out, and I haven't heard it. Sorry, so I
you're
don't
gonna
know.
love it. You're gonna love it when you hear it. You're
I
gonna
will
love
check
it.
it
You're
out.
gonna say, you know, Jimmy was right.
Okay.
Jimmy was right.
I'll check it out. I'll take your word for it.
Dimitri.
Dimitri. You know what Gus's real name? Trivia. What do you think Gus's real name is, Alan? It's not Taki. What is it? What do you think it is?
Ergo.
No.
No, that's George.
Yeah, I know, but Gus, George, I said maybe I'll
That's the
take
same.
a chance.
Costas. Constantinos. That's it. That's what his
What's
real
that?
name is.
That's also wrong. Why do all the Constantinos that came to America became Gus?
Not in Canada. Not in Canada.
Ah, okay.
It's more of a U.S. thing than a Canadian thing.
Yeah, because my uncle told me when I was a kid, and I said, what's my name? Do I have like an English name? Of course, he's like, it's Gus, and I don't think that's I don't think that's
It's
right.
true.
It's not right. I don't know.
Well, my passport's Dimitrios, right? But they go Jimmy. Well, how did that come about? Like, where's the connection, right? They just made it up at some point. I don't know.
Jimmy.
Alan,
Yeah,
you're just Alan,
yeah Alan.
the minority.
There is no Alan in Greek.
Oh, there you go.
Alexander.
See, I learned something today.
There you go. All right. We'll go through this since you guys didn't do your homework. Number 8.
Okay.
You guys know this one, right? You guys know this one. Alan, you don't know this one?
I don't know. You're going to tell me what it is.
It's Anthrax, Got the Time.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, finally. There we go. I'm sure, Gus, you've heard this song too,
Yeah,
right?
of course, yeah.
I don't know. Alan, you want to talk about it?
What's that guy's? The Jackson? Was the original?
Joe Jackson did it in 1979. It was on his debut album. It was
See, this is a good example
kind of
where
punky.
I'm going, where this takes it to a completely different level where people just refer to the Anthrax version, nobody else's, right? As far as I'm concerned.
Strange
I love
enough,
that.
if you listen to the Joe Jackson album, it's like sort of a punk. I guess punk was sort of like new wave punk was sort of happening back then. And then Anthrax took it and made it into a thrash, a tribal sort of sounding thrash tune, right? It's got a nice groove to it. Gus, you like Anthrax in general?
I didn't know the Joe Jackson song.
See?
His version. I first heard it, in metal clubs when I was a kid from Anthrax. So
Yeah.
There you
that's all
go.
I knew. So I think a lot of it has to do also with generations. How you get exposed to music or where. And some songs we might listen to the originals. It just happens, and some others we just listen to them. It depends on the time and, like I said, generations. Like for me, it was like that. I didn't know who Joe Jackson is. Sorry.
Yeah. Just
And again, I just saw some of the comments. Antisocial from the French group Trust. That's another great one from Anthrax as well.
Yeah.
they took this song and they really made it their own to the point where I don't think they play a show and they don't play this song. It's a standard in their set list, right?
It's
Like
classic
Maniac
Anthrax
is
song.
with Firewind. Do you play it in every show? Do you play Maniac?
Actually, funnily enough, we refused to play it for over 10 years because we just thought it was whatever. We did it for fun in the studio, and we were kind of like ashamed about it. And then we were looking at the Spotify numbers a few years ago, and we were like, oh my God, this has like over 10 million streams. This is like our most successful song. And we started playing it for it's like, okay, let's play it on this festival run that we're doing. And then everybody went nuts again. And that was the party moment of the show. And I think now it has to kind of like stay. It's one of the songs that is to highlight on the show.
It better be on our top 10, Jimmy. It better be on the top 10.
Well, I just put it in. Okay, well, 8.5.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think about it. I remember, to me, it's always been Money for Nothing, which was like just recently.
Yeah, but
released,
the
not
thing
too many
is,
years ago.
the Firewind version is not more popular than the Michael Sembello version. I thought we were talking about,
It's
you know,
true.
songs that
That's a
are
good
more
point.
popular than the original ones. Ours is not more popular than the original one. The original one will always be top. But you know, I think it's the most popular heavier version because a lot of metal bands have done Maniac, and
Okay.
I think actually Avantasia did one on their last
Ed
album.
Guy did Rock Me Amadeus.
No, Avantasia. They did Maniac on the last
Oh yeah,
record.
yeah. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
But you know, I think ours still is kind of like the top hard rock version, metal version of it. So
And just in case Todd Latore's watching, I hope Rebel Yell from Queensryche makes the list.
Did you hear
Queensryche
it?
did
It's
that?
really good. They did
I haven't heard.
Billy Idol, Rebel Yell.
Okay, I haven't heard
Well,
it.
Queensryche did it on their last album as sort of like a bonus track. It's pretty good. It's true to the original. Oh, he is. Send Gus my best. Hey, Todd. So, is that why you said that, Alan?
I love it.
He's
Way to
right
go,
there.
Todd. Todd's always lurking in the shadows. He's in the marshes.
Well, I'm just to finish off on that. Queensryche did a Queensryche version of Billy Idol, keeping it true to the original, but yet new with the nuances of Queensryche. If that makes sense.
I gotta check that out.
Check that out. That's another thing. Voivod, Queensryche.
I'm writing.
Love
I'm taking my
Birds,
notes
Everly
here.
Brothers.
Everly Brothers.
We'll get to that. All right. Number 7. Here. Come on, Alan. Come on. I need you to speak to this, Alan. Here we go. Where's number 7? Boom. Metallica, off the Creeping Death single, what they released, but it's not Creeping Death, it's Am I Evil?
Yeah.
A Diamond Head cover.
Of course, Lars being a huge New Wobbin fan and Diamond Head, and I think this song in Metallica's version introduced many people back in the day to Diamond Head, where they were completely unknown, and people got to learn from them because of this release.
Yeah, it did well when Diamond Head released it. That was sort of it made got some traction, and to your point, Lars was following the new wave of British heavy metal groups, and he goes, "Oh, hey, this really stuck out. I want to cover this." And they took that original and they grew it, even though they put it as a B-side. It's, when the Big Four played in Bulgaria, the last encore song was that song.
Everybody did that.
So think about sort of how that song sort of shaped the blueprint of thrash in a sense.
Yeah, and they still play it. It's part of their set list, I think. And
yeah.
I think what's his name? Tutler, I think is.
Tatler, yeah.
And didn't he recently say that, that
made more
because
money
of that song it has afforded him
yes.
a living, a very good living, because of Metallica's cover.
Did you get any money off of Maniac? How did that go? No.
I haven't seen it. But maybe Michael Sembello has seen some money out of that.
He must have. I guess it would be the other way around, right? You're right. It'd be the other way around. Yeah. All right.
Well, how many streams? I'm sure he's seeing some kind of money with that.
Well, 10 million streams equals like what? $50?
No, I think that's more like $40,000.
Wow, look at that.
I think it's like $1,000 per. No, it's like. It's like $4,000 per million streams, 0.004 per stream or something. So every million is like 4K. So 10 million.
But since he's the publisher, right? He's getting the money, right?
I don't know how it's split with exactly with the streaming, but I think back in the days when there was physical, there was a publishing. Obviously, the publisher was getting paid for that, like a dollar per copy, per sold copy. But I think the publisher gets also part of the stream, but I think some of it goes to the artist. So there must be some kind of even with Spotify, there's some kind of split there. And I think some of it goes, like the mechanicals, they go into Firewind's account. So
yeah,
I don't know how much that is, but I can tell you it's not a lot.
All right, here we go. Now we're going quicker, Alan, because you have a lot less to say. Number 6. This is a band that, oh boy, just as much love as any Iron Maiden fan. It's Judas Priest, Green Manalishi, and the Two-Prong Crown. I mean,
Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac.
All right, what do you think, Gus? When you hear those guitars, I don't know if you've heard the original or not.
I first heard Priest, and then I think it was my guitar teacher back in the day who told me, yeah, it was Peter Green that wrote that. I was like, really? It's like, who's Peter Green? I was a kid, I was like, what? Yeah. You don't know Peter Green?
Yeah, because I think Albatross was a huge hit in Greece. One of their early songs was a huge hit in Greece.
Yeah,
but that dates us also. I don't know. But there's another example. Look, if you take Black Magic Woman, everybody thinks of Santana's version, when it's actually Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac that wrote it. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, that one too. Yeah.
So that's what we mean by impactful.
That's where I'm going with this list. Santana took it to a whole other level where it became the definitive version. So
absolutely, yeah.
I think that's the key word, Alan. Definitive.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I like this version, but for me, Diamonds and Rust is almost like the definitive version for me. Judas Priest cover of the Joan Baez song. So
Joan Baez, yeah, that too. Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah, well, Green Manalishi, to me, when I first heard it, now we're talking about my teenage years, I had absolutely no idea it was a cover. It just sounded so much like Judas Priest. Mm-hmm. Like you couldn't comprehend it was a cover,
No, they totally did it the wrong way, man.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Moving along.
Should be looking at the comments here. Let's see. All right.
Well, we get a lot of. I didn't know that was a cover, so that's good. I'm glad.
All right, let's see. Danzig's version of Trouble is very good. Yes, was an amazing cover, a great 12-inch at the time. Anyways, you tell us what your top 5 is as you're watching, and I'll read them out.
Saxon's Ride Like the Wind.
I don't know. I love Saxon. Yeah. I always found that. I don't know.
So that's what Christopher Cross, I think.
Yeah, Christopher Cross. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
So what's next, Jimmy? Who do you got next?
Here's a big one. Here's Kostas is his real name. Likes Nutella.
Yeah.
Nutella. How can you not love Nutella?
I love Nutella, but I stopped eating it, man. It was bad.
First time I had Nutella was in Greece.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think we had Nutella till later on.
They don't have it in Canada? They must have it now.
They do. They do now. Yeah, they're all kinds. But I think it was.
I love Nutella that much that my tour manager a few years ago, he went and made a whole Nutella outfit and brought it on tour, and I was wearing it on the whole tour. Like I have Nutella pants and a Nutella sweater. Yeah, but I stopped eating it because it was just making me feel so bad afterwards. Like my stomach felt like.
Guys,
it's the best.
Guys, you're gonna have to have a little.
What's that, NyQuil?
A little cough medicine. I take it. I'm getting over COVID.
It keeps Jimmy awake during the shows.
All right, just so I don't start hacking a cough here.
What do you got next, Jimmy?
Number 5. This sort of was my childhood, right here and now. Let me grab it. Let me grab the screenshot. Ace Frehley, New York Groove.
Okay.
When you think about the Kiss solo albums, guys, maybe we're a little older than you, okay? But
I think we are not. Maybe. He's got hair.
We're old enough to be your father. No. When the first Kiss 4 solo albums came out, the whole sort of buzz and the rage was for Ace. Suddenly, Ace was the superstar. New York Groove was playing on the radio. It was a cover, but it was sort of like a cover that nobody really knew back then, written by Russ Ballard, who's done so many songs for so many rock artists. But this was big. 1975, it was like everybody was, buying Ace Frehley's album, and that kind of like, sort of, I guess, started the cracks, formulated more cracks in the Kiss camp also, right?
Because Ace's album sold more than the others, huh?
Yeah. And meanwhile, they thought they'd be selling more of theirs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Alan.
I believe you.
All right,
If
look
you
at
think
Alan. It's
it was a minor hit on the radio, a minor hit, I guess it was a hit on
minor
the
hit.
radio, and I think they even played it live a few times. But
No,
I
no,
mean, was it very well known to begin with, Jimmy? It's kind of like Women in Uniform, right? It wasn't too well known to
no,
begin with.
Alan. What are you talking about? Because Alan wasn't a Kiss fan. Alan wasn't a Kiss fan. That's the problem.
No, I mean the original.
He was
What is
an
it? Glenn
AC/DC
Ballard
fan.
wrote it, I think.
Russ
wrote it?
Ballard wrote the original.
Yeah, Glenn Ballard wrote it. How big was that song before Ace did it? You know what I mean?
My point is, New York Groove sold Ace's album, made it the more popular album, so much so that when they did their reunion tour in 97 or 98, it was in their set list.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
I believe
that's
it.
how popular it was. And Kiss fans will attest to this.
Good. Fantastic.
All right.
Next.
When we do these shows with Todd, I think we must spend like 20 minutes arguing about things. So it's like, it's okay. It's good to argue. Guys, if you have negative feelings toward any of these songs.
No, I mean, if I don't say
Feel
much,
free.
it's because I don't know the song. So I don't know.
New York Groove. You don't know New York Groove?
No.
Write it down.
Okay.
Write it down.
I know a lot of Kiss stuff, but I don't know this. And I definitely don't know their solo albums. So
there you go.
Fair enough. Okay, now this song you know.
Okay.
Coming in at number 4, Van Halen, You Really Got Me. And of course, the beginning of You Really Got Me is Eruption, right? Sort of an intro to it, right?
No, great choice. I mean, we can put on Pretty Woman, Dancing in the Streets. There's tons of covers of Van Halen did that. You're No Good, that's Linda Ronstadt, right? I mean, there's so many. They did such a great job on all of them. But this one really put it, it was a great Kinks tune, but it really put it on the forefront. And again, I think it became the definitive version. So,
yeah, without a doubt, I agree.
Yeah,
Gus, first time you heard Eruption?
When's the first time I heard it?
Yeah, what'd you think? What was your feelings?
The first Van Halen song I ever heard was Jump, which was a keyboard song.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why, because that's the first thing that came up on TV one late night or something that I was watching. I don't know if it was MTV or some Greek music channel back then. We had those that they played videos all day long, all night long. I was like, wow, of course I was floored, when the solo came in. And then I kind of like discovered the, Eruption and all that stuff. I mean, it was a shock to me, just like any heavy metal hard rock guitar player will tell you. I was shocked. I was like, wow, what is this? The tone, the licks, how does he do that? The technique. And of course, because I was always like, I'm into great guitar playing, but I'm also into great songwriting. I love to hear great guitar parts, great guitar solos, crafted into a really good song. And Eddie could write songs, not just like play incredibly, and just being so innovative on the guitar, but it was also his songwriting. So yeah, I just loved the whole thing like that.
I agree with Alan.
Good choice.
Was I think 1964 Kinks released it.
Yeah.
And Van Halen released it in 1978. So they turned a sort of pop punk song, 1964. Girl, you really got me now. It kind of got that punk phrasing, right? But then David Lee Roth took it and he made it more of a, what do you want to call it, Alan? A hard rock.
Even the breakdown, like they always, the breakdown and the.
Let's just say that when somebody does You Really Got Me cover nowadays, they do the Van Halen version, not the Kinks version. So.
Exactly. It became the definitive version. I agree.
So there you go. This is where we're going with this now.
Yeah.
This is where we're going with this.
Well, this is where I always was. I don't know where you were with New York Groove, but listen, you're on medication, so we'll let it go.
All right. COVID doesn't stop me, guys. COVID doesn't stop me.
Exactly.
Next.
All right, next. Alan's got supper ready. Okay.
My stomach's
number
spell. I'm not
three.
taking cough syrup, Jim.
Number three. Oh, this is a great one. I didn't even know this was a cover song. This is Nazareth, This Flight Tonight.
Joni Mitchell, yeah. when you sent me the list, Jim, this is the song I said it has to be on there, because for me, this is, again, a perfect example of the definitive version. This Flight Tonight, so much different than Joni Mitchell's version. The lyrics are unbelievable, but they really made it their own, Nazareth, and just a great. We lost Dan McCafferty in 2022, and that was a huge loss. What a voice, and just a great band.
Yeah, yeah. When you first heard This Flight Tonight, Gus, did you go, "Wow, man, this sounds like a cover"? Or, "Wow, I can't believe"? Like, what was your reaction?
I just heard it tonight for the first
Okay.
time.
I love it.
So, what was your reaction?
Great song. I didn't know
Okay.
who he was. I thought it was a great Nazareth song. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good. You never heard it before?
No,
Not even on Greek radio or anything?
not much into Nazareth, man. Sorry. So.
But I mean, just turning on the radio, you go, "Oh, I remember
No,
that song."
you only hear "Love Hurts." That's the only one.
Maybe we should have chose "Love Hurts."
Yeah, that's the bigger one.
And yeah. Anyways.
And that's a cover too, right?
Yeah.
That's a cover too. You got it. Yeah. And the Everly
Off,
Brothers.
off of Hair of the Dog, there's also Guilty, that the Randy Newman song. That Joe Cocker does an unbelievable version of that cover. And there's a Morning Dew, I think, is another one that's written by somebody else. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
All
mean,
right,
Black
so let's
Sheep
go.
of the Family Rainbow. There's another one that's a great cover. So
Yeah.
You know what I'm realizing with this conversation here tonight? That
Mhm.
we're
I
old.
should have done a lot more covers in my career. Maybe I would have had a bigger chance to have a hit, because I'm always struggling to write songs and make the better songs and stuff. And then everybody that we're talking about has had major hits of cover songs of others.
Yeah,
So,
but where does the money go?
Well, yeah. Where's the
Yeah,
money
but I
going?
mean, it's not about also who makes the money from a song, because that if the door opens, the opportunities open, and that takes you to another level, you're gonna make the money as an artist by performing the song.
So I guess the real question is
other avenues
tonight.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the question tonight is, what song should Gus G and Firewind
Yeah,
perform as a cover on the next album?
Dude, this is that was a great that's a great question. Yeah, I would love to see some comments about that. We actually just recorded the new album.
Okay.
We just did drums. I haven't started with the guitars yet, but the drums are done. And we did record one cover so far, but I think we're gonna go back in the studio after this tour. We're gonna go back and do a few more covers. So I would be interested to collect more ideas and suggestions. But we did do one song that I think it's amazing. It was a hit.
Oh,
It was a big
can't
hit.
say nothing. Which one was it? Do we know
Huh?
it? Do we know it? Then do you
Yeah,
think
you
we
know the
now
song.
know it?
Yeah, of course you know. Yeah.
How many syllables? How many words?
Sounds like
Sounds like back.
when
Black.
the first song that came to my mind when you asked that question, Jimmy,
What?
it would be "Man on the Silver Mountain" by Rainbow. I would like to
Oh, that'd be a
Firewind do
great
that.
cover. Yeah, but personally, for me, being a huge '80s pop fan, I'd like to see. I like seeing when metal artists take songs like Maniac and sort of bring it into a new genre. It makes
Yeah.
it exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it has to be to a certain extent. You should try to, when you make a cover, it has to be something that's fun, something that want to make people party, and not just a song that is just a popular song for whatever reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something that will get the party going, and I think that's where we succeeded with Maniac, for example, because it's the ultimate party song. And it's cheesy and all that, but it's still a great song, and it's a party song. And whenever you play it, people just go wild.
Maybe that's your calling right there.
Maybe.
That's you keep doing that. Push that button. Push
We'll
that button.
release we'll release the next album. Will be called Firewind, the covers.
It's been done. It's been done before. Undercover.
Oh yeah, right. Ozzy did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, so when's the album going to be released? The studio album. When do you
We
think?
don't know yet, because now the thing is, I was talking to AFM Records, to the owner. Actually, we met over Christmas actually, and we talked about it. And now there's a new approach. It seems like we're just gonna be releasing singles. So
Wow.
that was an interesting topic they brought on, because they just want to keep on releasing singles, and then eventually those singles will be part of an album. I mean, we still worked on the album like we did old school, you know, like how we did it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I already wrote the songs. I wrote 10 songs and all that. But they were like, you know, we'll just drop singles as we go and see how much traction you get, see if we get like playlist placements, because, you know, Spotify playlists are like the new radio. That's like the new medium right now.
Okay.
And that's what makes money for labels and artists, I guess. You know, you get
Wow.
a song that gets X amount of million streams, then that's revenue, and that keeps it going for we move on to the next song and the next song, and then eventually you take those 5 or 6 singles over a period of a year and you package them with another 4 or 5 songs. I know it sounds very boring now. That doesn't sound like artistic at all, but that's how labels sing nowadays.
We've come full circle, because that wasn't that the way it was in the music industry before the Sgt. Peppers, right?
That's
Sgt.
right.
Peppers really say, hey, we can get into an album. And then, I mean, Pink Floyd took it to another level where it's all about the deep tracks and the experience of the LP. But before that, it was all 45s.
I think that's, I thought that's how Elvis made records. I think they put out 45s, they put out singles, and then eventually the new album featuring the smash hit, this and this and this and this.
Exactly.
So
remember that?
they already have like 3-4 radio hits.
Yeah. Alan, very good analysis there, Alan. Very good.
Very good. Then another 10 years will go by and we'll be, screw this, we'll put the albums out again. So
yeah.
10 years from now, we'll be buying cassettes again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm
Apparently
going to jump on
big.
that one.
People,
I'm not jumping on that one.
There's an underground used cassette market out there that I'd love to tap in, because I got a whole bunch of cassettes I'd like to get rid of. So,
Gus, and the last question on the new album would be: are you continuing along the same path, or you're going into different directions?
I think it still sounds like Firewind. I tried to make more. I don't know. My goal was to make a little bit more anthemic type of tracks this time around, because of the whole direction that was okay. Let's work singles. I thought every song should be a single. You know what I mean? So like, not like I didn't write any kind of like obscure type of tracks, or didn't experiment in that type of area. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like focus on writing 3-4 minute songs that are like, very high energy, something that you can play in an arena, in a festival, in front of a large crowd. That was like my philosophy behind this time, which is good. It's not easy to write that type of songs. People think it's easy. It's whatever, but it's so simple and stuff. But it's not. It's not so easy to make that and resonate with a bigger crowd. So let's see how it does.
Great segue, because we're going into number 2. I think we're going into number 2. Alan, I'm not keeping track here.
We're running out of fingers.
Okay. We are going to number 2, and this is probably the anthem of all anthems.
Okay.
It's Quiet Riot. I'm sure you heard this one, guys. Come on, feel the noise. Right? So
what's the original one?
Slade.
Slade. Yeah, of course.
Now, Slade, what was it? They got a number 1 hit back in the day. It was released in 1973. And then in 1983, 10 years later, because of the similarity between Kevin DuBro's voice and the Slade singer, what was his name? Noddy Holder. The Spencer Proffer, the producer, said, you know what? We can really revitalize this song and make a big hit out of it. The band was reluctant. Quite right, that was.
Yeah, they were actually, yeah.
And they made it. Not only did they get a smash of a song, the album was the first heavy metal album, they say, to go number 1 on Billboard charts. Not only did it go number 1 on Billboard charts, but it opened the gateway to all the other bands to get signed to the record labels, like Rat and whatever else.
Motley Crue.
So this was like a game changer of a cover.
Was it the
Metal
album?
Health.
Yeah.
Metal Health, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the album that kind of opened the gate for all the hair metal bands.
Yeah.
Well, the whole LA scene, right? Everything was kind of
scene.
New York centric back in the day, and that really allowed the LA bands to have you know, there was Night Ranger, Dawn Patrol was released at the same time, and Rat was out there, Dokken was floating around, Van Halen's success coming out of California. So, but this album really opened up the floodgates to the whole metal movement in the 80s, as far as I'm concerned. So, and you know, Jim, who else was a huge band, a band that was hugely influenced by Slade as well in the early 70s?
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
Kiss.
Yeah, they wanted to be Slade. They never understood why Slade never made it big. It's just because nobody could understand anything those guys were saying. So
the British, yeah.
British, yeah. So, yeah. But they loved Slade. They wanted to be Slade. Kiss wanted to be the U.S. version of Slade. So
it's strange because when you listen to Metal Health today, it doesn't really sound like a metal album that we sort of relate to today, right? But back then it was metal, right? It was as metal as you got. It was heavy metal, right? That's what the term was. So
yeah, I think and that became the definitive version, Jim. So that's a great choice, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
again,
I'll throw out one before you get to number one.
Go ahead, go. Number one, yeah, go.
Whitesnake, Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City, a Bobby Bland song.
Yeah,
that's a great version.
It's a great song, but did it do what Quiet Riot did with "Come On, Feel the Noise"?
Well, live they played it right until probably their last tour. So
it's not like, was it a big radio song though?
No.
Well, no, it was more a live track.
More like a live track, yeah.
So it really doesn't count.
No. My list. I'm coming up with my own list while you're doing your groove thing and your.
What would you, Gus? Before we get to the last one, what would you put as your sort of their all-time favorite cover song? Again, you know, within what we're talking about today, if you had to think of one.
Yeah, mine would be. You really want my opinion on this?
Yeah,
it's not going to be Demi Russo's.
No. I'm just gonna ruin your number one. That's why.
No, don't tell me my number one. No. If there was another one.
Who was it?
Okay, then we must look.
But that's the one. To me, that's the one.
Okay, so we'll just talk about that one. Okay, here we go. Number one. All right, it's okay. So the number one song, the most impactful and defining cover song done by a hard rock or metal band is, Alan, drum roll, please. Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower, originally done by Bob Dylan.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I mean, you know, when Frank Marino did it later in the late 70s, early 80s, that's the version he did, right? It was the Jimi Hendrix version. I mean,
that's the one.
Not surprisingly, because Frank Marino was a Hendrix disciple. But again, nobody ever goes back and listens to the Dylan version. That's the version that everybody listens to.
I think this is the song that even Bob Dylan admitted that Hendrix did it better.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, I don't know.
Yeah, no, Dylan said that all his songs, Hendrix could have lived all his songs. He was really a big admirer of Jimi Hendrix and what he did to his music. So,
you know what's funny about Jimi Hendrix? Before he started, I guess, formulating his band, he wanted a singer, right? I need a singer. But then he looked at Bob Dylan and goes, if Bob Dylan could sing, then I could sing. So Bob Dylan was his motivation to say, you know what, you could just sing anyways. And you know what? People don't give credit to Jimi Hendrix's voice. I think he has like a spectacular voice.
And Ronnie Romero wasn't available.
Exactly.
When you think of Jimi Hendrix, the guitar licks, the tone, the sound, what comes to your mind, guys?
I don't know, man. I mean, Hendrix was like life-changing, like that style, the style of how to play the guitar. Like, I don't know, it still sounds fresh, you know what I mean? Okay, maybe not the production, but like it still sounds fresh, you know, the way he played the guitar, even today. So yeah, I have a lot of memories listening to Jimi Hendrix, obviously, for the first time, and just going like, whoa, what is that? You know, I remember because I was like into that. I was into classic rock, and then I was into a lot of the shred stuff. And, you know, growing up on stuff like that, and listening to somebody like Yngwie Malmsteen and how he credited Hendrix, and you can hear so much Hendrix into Yngwie's style. You know, if you take away the classical stuff, but when he does rock and blues, that's all Hendrix. So like the same with Satriani and all the greats. So the impact is just like rolling over to generations and generations of players, and it's still relevant as ever. I just did actually some Hendrix tribute shows here in in Europe
Wow.
this past November. It was just, and when I went into that doing that, obviously it's a lot of fun for me to do that and all that, but it's not easy to do it. And I can play technical stuff, pretty technical stuff, and like just to replicate that vibe and the atmosphere and just like the licks and all that stuff and the tone and all that. It's not easy, man. You hear a lot of players that cannot do Hendrix. Not a lot of guitar players today, even today, can do Hendrix justice. Is there more technical players than him? Sure, of course, no doubt. But it's about the attitude, and yeah, just the guitars with the biggest impacts in whole history of rock and roll, without a doubt. So
Frank Marino said to us, he goes, Jimi Hendrix didn't play fast. He didn't need to play fast. Like, we always associate how fast you can play as a better guitar player, right? He didn't play fast. You think he was playing fast, but he wasn't, right? So I think that's a pretty cool, like, you think he's playing fast. That the way he's playing sounds that way, but it's not really like that. It's Sting from The Police. When he first saw Jimi Hendrix play, he wanted to become a musician. You're talking about Sting from The Police. He influenced, even to your point, even musicians today. I mean, he's long dead, and he's still influencing people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I watched a documentary once. I think it was Pete Townsend. He was late for the show. It was one of first Hendrix's first gigs in London. And before Townsend got there, here's Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton coming out of the club, and they're like, he says, "You're leaving? Is he that bad?" They said, "No, he's that good."
Yeah. Now those guys were intimidated, when they first heard Hendrix. I think Townsend wanted to. Which festival did they invite him to, or some gig? And I forget what it was, but he wanted the Who to play before him.
Yeah, Monterey Pop Festival.
Monterey Pop, and
they were both going to destroy their instruments. There was a question of who was. Nobody wanted to close the show. They wanted to be the first to destroy their instruments.
Right.
And they did a coin toss, I think, and the Who lost, so they won, so they were able to go on before Hendrix, and that's why Hendrix lit his guitar, his Strat, on fire, because they had already destroyed the stage. So.
Yeah, so he won up.
And even when you take the song like All Along the Watchtower, and then when U2 does it, it just doesn't. It's not the same as the Hendrix version, or even when Bob Dylan does it, it's not the same as the Hendrix. It has become, as Alan always said, the standard and the definitive version of the song of everyone who knows the song.
Agreed.
All right.
So we got Gus's number one is the same as our number one. So that's
it.
That says it all right there. So
I thought it would have been like, something else.
Metallica Turn the Page is a good one. I saw that in the comments. That's a great version of Bob Seger. Thin Lizzy, Rosalie, another Bob Seger song. Yeah. That's a great copy.
Who made who had I don't know, but I think his biggest hits were covers. I think it was Marilyn Manson. People forget about that. Tainted Love,
Sweet Dreams,
and Sweet Dreams, and
there you go. Yeah, that's true.
But Sweet Dreams was a very big song, and you see, this is what you were talking about before, Gus. Like Maniac was this massive song. You just kind of put it into another genre, but it still was a massive song. But Sweet Dreams, like in the 83, 84, when it came out, it was like one of the biggest songs on the radio and TV and whatever, right? So he didn't really take something that was obscure and make it a big hit. He already took something that was already a massive hit.
Yeah. But he did his own version. He just didn't do a cover.
Yes,
he did it
that's right.
Completely his own. And like, if you want to hear a dark goth version of that's what you get. That's Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, you're right.
We should get Firewind doing "Do You Really Want to Love Me" by Culture Club. I mean, that.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Or Take on Me by Aha.
That's great.
Oh,
yeah. Take on Me by Aha.
Or Hunting High and Low.
Or you know what I always like? 99 Luftballons But when I think Goldfinger did the version, like they did this sort of metalized version of it, and
Sorry, what
it's
song?
99 Luftballons, red balloons. Nena. Don't you remember the song? Oh my God, Gus, what is going on here? First Voivod, then no Nena. What's going on?
I don't know. I only listen to Sabbath and Yngwie Malmsteen. That's it.
There you go.
That's about it, man.
Excellent.
All right. Anything else
Hey,
you want to promote
thanks, Gus.
before
Anything else you
jump?
want to plug?
I don't know if I'm forgetting something, but I just want to thank you guys for having me over. It was great to catch up with both of you. Good to see you, Jimmy, again. And I'm glad you're doing better after COVID.
Yeah.
No, thanks, man. I mean, if anybody watching from Europe, hope to see you out there on the road. We start in a couple of weeks. Just check the dates on our website. So yeah, hope to see you out there. It's gonna be a busy year. So that's all. Thanks a lot.
So are you touring the last album? Were you able to tour the last album, or is that why you're going out this time?
We're going out because it was a great tour and we wanted to do it, regardless of the album. I mean, the last album it's almost 3 years old now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna try and drop a new single, like I said.
Hey.
Yeah, or several.
At least one. We're actually starting to mixing it now. We recorded one song fully, and then we got to finish the rest. But we're gonna try and drop a new song while we're out there with Beast in Black, and see what happens. So this is gonna be the year where we just release stuff. I don't know when the album is coming out, what month. I think it's gonna be the second half of 23. But let's see. We're gonna drop some singles, see how they do, see what people think, and we already confirmed a lot of festivals for the summer, so it's gonna be a busy year if another pandemic doesn't hit us. Who knows?
No, I think we're good. We're all good. I'm good. I'm immune. I'm immune now. Right now, I'm just immune. I'm good. I'm good to go, man. My system has adapted. All right, guys.
Hey,
so
great
Gus,
having you on the show, Gus. Thanks for your participation.
You,
and
all right, Kalinikta.
that was fun. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.